Y'all are lucky that I'm not in the mood to test another outlet right now, because it is too hot to be clothed. This is bullshit. That's where I'm at. Despite what you may think based off my current mood, which is primarily exhaustion, this is actually, in fact, water. No joke. It is just water. Because it's too hot to be drinking anything else. Not only do I know the song Too Damn Hot, Rebecca, I performed it in Kiss Me Kate. I got to sing that song, and I have a burlesque number that I do to that song. So yes, I am very familiar with Cole Porter's Too Darn Hot. I'd like to cool with my baby tonight. All right, can't keep going. I don't know at what point the nonsense will catch my singing. I saw the Suicide Squad. Really glad Capaldi got to deliver an anti-government speech. He should get to do that for the rest of his career. Agreed. More than ice water? No, it's really not. Not today. I thought you'd be getting drunk tonight. Don't have the energy to get drunk. I have a baseline, like, I have to have a certain amount of motivation and willing, and like have to be at a certain amount of energy that I'm willing to crash from to bother drinking. I have neither of those things at the moment. No, I have not seen the new Owl House episodes yet. My kid has, but she doesn't want me to watch them without her, despite the fact that she has watched and rewatched them already. So until her mother and I have the handover, I won't see them. So that probably means later this week. Thoughts on Straczynski and Doctor Who? I have no thoughts until it's official, as per usual. Did Henry hit your area much? Henry didn't come close. We barely got a sprinkle. I've got one complaint that the mic sounds weird. Anybody else? Or is it just the one person? How am I doing mentally? Exhausted. I'm actually probably more mentally exhausted than physically. Like, I'm mentally exhausted and I'm physically just overheated. So that's that's the combination. Yeah, mic is weird, echoey. Ah, crap. Okay, great. Give me a minute. Alright, so that's doing what it's supposed to do. Technical bullcrap. Weird. Well, there isn't a secondary, is there? No, that's off. Anything else? No. That's the only input. Well, crap. Well, I mean, can I be understand? Hang on a second. Let me try something. That. All right, hang on. All right. Hang on. And how about there? How about that? Is that better for people? How do we sound now? Do we still sound like crap? Do we sound better? Do we sound worse? Can you hear me? Is there anybody out there? That's an album to avoid right now. Random comic fact: Deadpool married the fiance of Dracula, had a kid with her. Let that sink in. Freaking Deadpool cuckolded Dracula. Sorry for the bad language. Cucked is, I mean, like, the way people use it is bad, but like cuckolding, it's a thing that happens. Some people dig it. Did Buffy the Vampire Slayer ever have a bad season in your opinion? Yeah, it had 2, season 4 and season 7. That is not to say there is no good in either one. There is good in both of them, but neither taken as a whole is very good. I'm watching the Daleks Master Plan, which is bleak as hell, while playing Spec Ops The Line. I'm very unhappy. See, that sounds like self-abuse to me, if I'm going to be honest. Based on what you've seen, Bellows or Hordak. Well, see, Alyssa, I feel like that's a spoiler you just dropped at me, because you wouldn't even compare the two unless Bellows in some way becomes more humanized, or is given more justification for the way he's being, which is something I wasn't aware of. So I neither have an answer, and also I'm a little annoyed. You know Vera means faith, apparently? No, I didn't, because it means truth. So I think it also depends on the language. I think the name or a similar name has different meanings in different languages. Last week, for the first time since March 2020, I went to a movie theater to see Riff Trax Live Hobgoblins with a couple friends. We have a blast. Have you been to a theater? No, I have not been to a theater. I've been to a drive-in. That's as close as I've come. What's the temperature there? See, allow me to offer the standard New England cliche before I tell you this number. It's not the heat, it's the humidity. It's 81 degrees with a 57% humidity, which is better than it was earlier, but it's not good. It makes the air feel like pea soup. Thoughts on Spider-Man No Way Home trailer? I mean, my immediate reaction is up in the break room of Geeks, so you can see that there. I mean, beyond what I already said there, like anybody who's making the claim that Doctor Strange is actually Mephisto in disguise, so that this is like their way of doing the One More Day plotline, screw you and shut up. First of all, they can evoke it without having to actually do the plotline, which is actually what the Marvel things have been in general. And secondly, it's never Mephisto. Mephisto at this point is to the MCU what the Ronnie is to Doctor Who. It's never Mephisto. It's never the Ronnie. It's 89 in Maryland right now. High was 93. Tomorrow's going to be damn near 100. Ugh. Ooh, evisceration. Thank you so much. So this, I should have mentioned earlier, Super Chats guarantee that I will read your comment and or question. And it gets you a heart to show my appreciation, because I stole that from Jesse Gender. I have no shame about that whatsoever. Greetings and salutations. Who would make a good Uncle Bedford from the MCU? My pick would be Joe Pesci, if only for reuniting him with Marissa Tomei. You see, Peter, the thing you gotta understand is with great power comes great responsibility. It'd be amazing. I can't actually do a Joe Pesci. If I'm doing quotes of things he's actually said, I can kind of do him a little bit, but not really. But so, anyways, an actual answer to that question, I don't know. Like, I'm bad at fan casting questions. It's just my brain doesn't work that way. I'm trying to think. Marissa Tomei's age range, her actual age range. Not the standard. Oh, you can get a guy 20 years older and call them a couple like Hollywood likes to do. These two youths. Yeah, that. I mean, if you're gonna do Joe Pesci, My Cousin Vinny is always a good one to go to. I'm done with this guy. Let's see. Didn't realize. Oh, sorry. Seti DeVito. Thank you very much. You get a heart. Appreciate it for the super chat. Didn't realize you were from New England. It's even wicked cooler that you are. Yeah, the thing is, I don't really have a New England accent, or not a distinct one at any rate. My mother's from Boston. So, she really loved the movie The Departed, because after she came out of the movie, she loved how they talk normal. And I'm not even exaggerating. That is a direct quote. So, but I grew up in Vermont. I don't have a Vermont accent. A Vermont accent is kind of a softer Maine, in a lot of ways. I did pick up the yup. That's the go-to. We don't say yes. We don't say yeah. We go yup. Yup. So that's kind of all I've got. Other than that, I have a relatively neutral accent. So I don't know if people clock that I'm New England all that often. If Doctor Who gets a new composer, do you have any fan picks? However wild, for me, it's Jessica Curry. I don't know Jessica Curry's work. I don't know. What the hell was the name of the guy who did... Oh, hang on. It's the only thing that's coming to my head. I hope you realize how fried my brain is. How crap I'm going to be at these questions. John Powell. That's who I was trying to think of. There we go. I know words. Have you seen Shang-Chi yet? If yes, no spoilers. But is it good and not too marvelly, if that makes sense? I have not seen it. I don't know when I'll get to see it. I don't know when I have time to see it. I don't know how I would see it. I'm definitely not going to a theater anytime soon. I want to watch it, but it's... I don't know. Did it get the premiere access nonsense on Disney Plus? I mean, that's the other thing. Pretty much all the review content at this point is going up on the break room, because the reviews just don't do that well most of the time. That's going to include What If going forward, by the way. There is a video coming out tomorrow, but it's not a What If review. Well, there will be a What If review, but that'll be in the break room. doubt you've doubted, but have you watched The Boys? I have not. I've stated repeatedly that I've heard very good things about it. I suspect I might even enjoy it when I get around to it. But, like, I'm in no rush. I don't particularly like Garth Ennis's writing, who did the original comic. Would you ever do a burlesque number to Let Me Be Good to You from The Great Mouse Detective? No, but the only reason is there is there's another performer in the state who already does that one. We try not to step on each other's toes in terms of duplicating each other's numbers. Like, you can occasionally use the same song as another performer, so long as your concept for the number is significantly different. I have had other people ask me, like, oh, I was thinking of a song to the number to this song, but I know you do one. Like, is that okay? And I'm like, well, tell me the idea. They tell me, like, yeah, that's totally different from what I did with it. Go nuts. But, you know, it's a professional courtesy. Currently Shang-Chi had a premiere for professional reviewers and such. It drops in theaters September 3rd. Comes out on Disney Plus 45 days later. I don't know. Like, you need to. I don't get screeners. Like, Disney does not send me early review stuff. So, if it's not out to the general public, it's not even worth asking me if I've seen it. Did you watch Andromeda? Nope, never saw that one. I am aware of it, and I know Sorbo's in it, so I definitely wouldn't really want to watch it now. But, no, I never saw that one. Asking questions in this chat is like karaoke. You sit for a while waiting for it, and you can't go anywhere in case you miss it. Let's face it, everyone's normally drunk. Yeah, that tracks. That makes sense. Do you think JMS could take over Doctor Who? Possibly. Maybe. I don't know. Like, I know I did the one video because I'd gotten, like, a bit of information that I was able to vet to my satisfaction, but, like, I'm not a speculative person. So asking me, you know, this person taking over, or that person in this part, or what actor do you think should play this? Like, I don't know. Vera, I tell you 3 times, you missed a super chat asking about your book. I did? It's not on the list of super chats that I've got. So whoever asked that, at me in the chat and ask again. So I'm sorry to whoever that is, and I'm sorry to Carowin. But it like, I've got the list of super chats that are logged, and it is it's not on there, so I'm not sure what was up with that. The super chat that I do have in here is Captain Omni. Gets a heart. Thoughts on the rumor of Shazam being renamed Captain Shazam following the new miniseries? I prefer it over just Shazam if he can't be Captain Marvel. Honestly, I prefer just Shazam. I feel like the captain title is kind of weird. For someone who isn't in the military, like, for how Marvel actually does Captain Marvel, it makes sense to me there. But otherwise, like, I don't love it as an honorific for a hero. Sorry to ask, but you're writing a book. I've already written a book. I wrote a novel that came out earlier this year. I've got other writing that I'm working on. No promises or plans for releases on anything else. But I've written one novel. I've written a book about being gender fluid, and I've written and self-published a play. So that's my writing currently available for purchase. see a whole lot of questions from people just trying to get my goat up, and I don't have the strength. Not gonna. Renee Garza for a $5 wants to know if your book is available and where. I don't know why that didn't show up. Okay, Renee, apologies. So have a heart. So yes, the book Dreams of Fire is currently available through Amazon in digital, paperback, illustrated or unillustrated, or hardcover, full color illustrated. You can also, because I set it up with a distributor, you can also get it through your local bookstore or library. They can acquire it. So, again, it's called Dreams of Fire. It was published with Nathaniel Wayne listed as the author. So generally, you're going to want to search both of those together, because if you search just one or the other, you might get other stuff. Excuse me. But there we go. Sorry I missed that earlier. I'm staring at the list of Super Chats. It's not there. It's really weird. Oh, great. So I write too, but I'm experiencing some kind of writer's block. How do you deal with that? I have the opposite. It's not that I have writer's block. It's that I am too buried in other shit to have time to write lately, which is annoying. Have you seen Hell of a Boss by Vizipop? I have no idea what that is. May look like a kid show, but it's not for kids. I neither know what that is, or who that's by, or where that is, or what, or the what, the who, or the. I'm almost 40, so like you threw a bunch of things at me that like don't make sense. It's funny that I'm thinking of becoming a YouTuber right as Channel Pup announces he might be ready to leave. I mean, were you planning on aping his style? You're gonna be the new pup? Like I know, because like I talk offline with Channel Pup now and then, so I know he's like the fun is kind of going out of it for him. And honestly, if you've hit that point, I think it's best to do what's going to be best for you. And if it's not fun and it isn't your living, there isn't, the idea of continuing to force yourself to do it is, is something that you keep doing it. It's going to get worse. It's going to feel more and more and more like work, and more like a chore. Renee Monkeo, thank you very much for the super chat. Check out the trailer for Mitch Jenkins and Alan Moore's The Show. It's on YouTube. I will have to do that after the stream. I would do a live reaction. The problem is if any of the stuff if the audio from my phone gets picked up in broadcast, then the bots might grab this stream and demonetize it, which would negate your super chat. And I think it would probably be pretty boring for me to mute my mic and people to just watch me watch something. Captain Omni came in with another one. Thank you very much. Non-binary here. I'm writing a Frankenstein book. Would it be good rep if the monster who's the hero identifies as non-binary? It's going to come down to execution. Honestly, as long as you're avoiding well-established and problematic tropes, there isn't an inherently good or inherently bad representation by making any given character non-binary or trans or what have you. Again, barring certain specific, like if you've got a character who's stalking women, given the current discourse around trans people, maybe don't make that character a trans woman. So, assuming you're avoiding stuff like that, making Frankenstein's monster non-binary is not inherently good or bad. It's going to come down to how it's handled within the work. Here's what I would say you have to be careful about in terms of one of the tropes that is a little bit of a sticking point, at least for me, with non-binary representation specifically. It's that the biggest source of non-binary representation in media is in fantasy and in science fiction with non-human characters, with aliens, shapeshifters, robots, androids, constructed beings, things that aren't just people. There is right now a dearth of representation of just non-binary people. Just people. Human beings. So that's the main thing that I would say to be careful of if you are making Frankenstein's monster or some equivalent thereof non-binary. Now, in some ways, if they are assembled from a number of various body parts, it would make an awful lot of sense, especially if they are assembled from the body parts of multiple genders or anything of that nature. So, like, it's not an automatic. I'm saying just like be careful to not just lean on the idea of they're non-binary because of their inhumanness. Just be careful about that. So, hold on. There was something I missed. Okay, so Molly is suggesting Slay the Spire for the Twitch channel, a video game card game that might be a cool replacement for Hearthstone. Huh. Well, I might look into that. Like, I'm gonna be opening things up a little bit more when two things happen. One, when I finish Paranormal, which I've probably got a couple of weeks left on, given that I'm only playing once a week right now. And the other one being my new computer coming in, which is ordered. I'm waiting for the damn thing to be built and sent to me, and that won't happen until next goddamn month. But once those two things happen, it will open up the possibility of what I could play instead. Now, as far as the one you mentioned, like at this point, I don't need a Hearthstone equivalent on my computer. If it has a phone app version, I might look into that, because that was sort of where I'm feeling the loss of Hearthstone a bit more. It was something for me to fiddle with on my phone. That didn't require too much of my direct attention, and it's sort of replacing that. That's what I'm working on. Have any ghost stories? I have sort of written a ghost story once, so trying to think of the short version of this. A couple years ago, some friends of mine wanted to like pool resources and try and, and knowing what locations they had access to and what kind of performers, props, etc. that they would have access to, wanted to make a ghost movie, like, shoestring budget, all that stuff. I ended up writing the script for that. It was their concept, it was their idea, but I ended up writing the script. So, like, if it had ever been made, which it wasn't, it would have been like story by, the other people involved, script by, and then it would have been my name. So, like, I have written a ghost story once, but I haven't fully conceived of one from start to finish before. Do you think that Deckard from Blade Runner is a replicant? I think it doesn't matter. That's what I think. Well, it only took a year and an unnerving amount of water, but I finally fixed one of my characters and made him better without actually having to change all that much. Congratulations, Lewis. Yeah, it could be tough trying to get these things sorted when you're writing and revising, especially. Speaking of which, there was another super chat from Captain Omni, Without giving anything away, the monster is more similar to Hellboy crossed with Indiana Jones. Identifies as a monster, not as man or woman. Okay, so in that case, what I would say is if you want to have them identify as monster, that's fine, but don't have anybody use the term non-binary, because then you are literally linking the idea of monstrosity to a non-binary identity. So don't do that. So if they identify as a monster, that is fine. Just be careful with how they talk about themselves and how people talk about them. And honestly, even be careful of pronouns. I don't know if this would work, but my natural inclination would be to have the monster use it as a preferred pronoun. Because even just having having it be they them still links it somewhat to non-binary identities, and then if they identify as monster, then we're back into issues again. Whereas if you had the creature actually choose, like voluntarily and prefer it pronouns, which, to be clear, there are some people who do, but generally it's not a thing to do. But if you had the monster actually do that, I think it would give you a chance to explore an existence outside of being either male or female without feeling like you are directly invoking human non-binary identities and tying them to monstrosity. Because that's the trap you're going to have to watch out for. Question: do you know any media that can juggle comedy and seriousness and pull it off and not get tonal whiplash? What comes to mind is the Yakuza game series and Dragon Quest XI. There are things out there that can do it. The thing is, it's like, I think a good example is the movie Four Lions, which the comedy is very broad and very silly. By the end, it's freaking harrowing. But the reason it works is because it's not turning... Here's the thing. Tonal whiplash is less about the marrying of comedic and dramatic elements and more about the transition from one to the other. Because the other thing that I could cite would be Shaun of the Dead, which by the end has become a pretty legitimate horror movie, but it's become that gradually. It's not like there was a moment where suddenly jokes stop, now it's horror. You have that transition, and if you're going for an overall tone shift, you gotta do it gradually and slowly. So tonal whiplash is less about the two tones you're trying to marry and more about the way that you switch from one to the other and or try to blend them together at the same time. So like most things, it's about execution. Evil Dead 2. Now, Evil Dead 2 is interesting because I would actually argue Evil Dead 2 deliberately does tonal whiplash to comic effect, which is a very hard thing to do. That's the kind of thing, that's basically like doing what you're not supposed to do on purpose and having it work, which almost never happens. So Evil Dead 2 is actually kind of fun as a weird outlier in that way, I think. I think Fiddler on the Roof does the tonal shift well, going from humorous to being very human. Actually, that's a really good example, because definitely when that show starts, it feels light and fun and airy, and by the time it's over, you're like, oh, dude. Let's see. I need to check out the Evil Dead movies. Honestly, only the second one is great. Third one's pretty good. I actually prefer the theatrical cut to the director's cut. Sorry. And the original is interesting as a origin point, or just as like an artifact of low budget cinema that doesn't exist anymore. But as a movie, it's kind of props to the careers that it started. But other than that, it's just kind of which of the two would you rather watch, An American Werewolf in London or The Exorcist? Oh, probably American Werewolf in London, because at least the zombie scenes are a good time. And I like that one better than The Exorcist anyway, because The Exorcist, like, American Werewolf in London has parts that are fun, and I enjoy the fun parts, and there's a couple of decent horror stuff. I just think it's slightly overrated. Similar to your opinion on Into the Woods movie, I don't think The Wall works without the interval and the concert. That's interesting, because I've never seen it in concert. Like, I listened to the album a lot when I was in high school, and I watched the movie. And the movie is a strange beast. It's fascinating. I haven't rewatched it in ages. Parasite intentionally did tonal whiplash and did it really well. I still haven't watched that. I still need to. I have a lot of things I need to watch. Have you seen the Wreck movies? I have not. I know what they are, but I have not seen them. What are the best seasons of Buffy and Angel in your opinion? Season 2 of Buffy, Season 5 of Angel. A kind of villain I love is a villain that can terrify me, like Dark Knight Joker. The thing is, I tend to lean personally towards, and this is as an audience member, not so much as a writer, but as an audience member, I tend to gravitate towards fun villains, as opposed to legitimately scary villains. Now, like, there can be, I like a villain that isn't trying to scare me the whole way through, but can pull it out at the right moment. But I tend to favor fun villains overall. And a lot of things that genuinely unnerve me tend to be movies taken as a whole, much more so than, just the villains in them. What will you do if Nicholas Hammond isn't in No Way Home? I don't know who that is. So, probably nothing. Speaking of Evil Dead, I'd love to see Bruce Campbell as Uncle Ben. That would be fun. That would also be amusing. Okay, so one more from Captain Omni. Thank you very much. The monster is almost akin to Superman. Does that work? Thank you for the advice. Your channel has really helped me on my non-binary journey. Oh, thank you. That's wonderful to hear. So yeah, that's assuming you're taking the Superman angle of not human but dwells among us. So not separate, but also not of the same kind. That could work. That's feasible as a general tone to the angle of it. Let's see. Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated. Perry the Platypus. I've actually never seen a full episode of that show, but I know Doofenshmirtz because he's all over memes, so I know him. A platypus? Perry the Platypus? Well, if you like fun villains, pretty soon, hopefully I'll start filming my own project. Ooh. Would you be interested in a series about villains that have a habit of winning? Cocky villains can be very fun. So, yeah, that could work. Still a great impression? Oh, thank you. It sounded right in my head, but that didn't mean anything. I heard Bruce Campbell was supposed to be the villain in Spider-Man 3, but they changed the story. Well, it's hard to track down what was originally supposed to be in Spider-Man 3 because it kept changing a lot. So trying to sort out what was genuinely supposed to be there or what was tossed out as an idea at one point or what got changed and what got forced is actually really hard to parse fully. That production on that thing was a mess. Basically, the first act ends when the final brick in the wall being put in, separating the band from the audience. Also, the movie cut Hey You, which is a real crime. Yeah, it did bug me that Hey You's not in the movie. Like, I remember when I first listened to the album, Hey You was my favorite track. So, yeah, that was an odd omission. A game series I want more people to get into is Dragon Quest, because I feel I feel like here in the West a niche, whereas in Japan it's freaking juggernaut. See, I have played 2 Dragon Quest games. The original on the Nintendo, which was marketed in the West as Dragon Warrior. I played that. Never quite beat it, but I did play that. And I played... Dang it, what was it? It was on PS2, so I think it was 9? It was 8 or 9. I started it, but I lost focus and drifted off to other things. But yeah, the thing is, it's never going to be the juggernaut over here that it is in Japan, because a big part of its design and appeal is very old school. And it's old school for a type of game that has always just been niche in America. So you kind of can't really get around that. John Vinyls, thank you very much for the super chat. I know I asked this earlier, but how familiar are you with the source materials of Disney animated classics? It varies from story to story. Like, I'm pretty familiar with The Little Mermaid, the original. I'm pretty familiar with Snow White. I'm passingly familiar with the original Cinderella. I don't know original Sleeping Beauty very well. I don't know very much about the Jungle Book. I know a little bit. So, like, it's mixed. Like, I know Rapunzel, Beauty and the Beast. I think the ones that, like, I basically kind of only know the Disney version of, other than just the cultural osmosis, is I never knew the specifics of Aladdin, other than, like, well, there's a genie and 3 wishes, and that's kind of it. So I didn't really know much about that one. I didn't know the Ice Queen, which was the starting basis for Frozen. Frozen became very much its own thing by the time it went up. But I'm trying to think of some of the other... things like 101 Dalmatians, Lady and the Tramp. Those are based off things. I don't know any of those worth a dang at all. Anyway. Sorry, folks. Give me just one quick second. Bear with me, please. All right, sorry about that. Lewis Ward, thank you very much for the super chat. And hi, I fixed my phone, so I'm back. I was randomness. Welcome back. Welcome. If you could play a Dragon Quest game nowadays, I recommend Dragon Quest 11. Yes, that's the title. It's so good. Isn't that like... It's got like a really weird, almost tongue-twisty title. Ms. Wicked Wolf, stop yelling at me. I actually mean that. When I see all caps directed at me in the chat, it really, really bothers me. I have mods. I have people who will get my attention if my attention needs to be gotten. And if you feel that you are failing to get my attention, you can go to Carowin, you can go to Pirates, they will get my attention for you. Do not all caps at me anymore. I ignored it up to this point. Please stop. It feels like being yelled at, and I don't enjoy it. Okay. Are we talking about Jessie? Because yes, Jessie has been sick. She gave herself a cold, so she'll be all right. She's been getting better, but yeah, I had the podcast record with her on Monday. She's still a little under the weather, but she is getting better, so she'll be all right. Is it just water today? Yes, it is genuinely just water. Do you have thoughts on Phantom of the Paradise? I know that it's a thing that exists, and that's kind of all I've got. I've never seen it, so I have no further thoughts about it. Let's see. One great thing about the newer War Master box set is they extended the awesome theme music. Ooh, that was really good music. Have you ever watched Once Upon a Time? Have you heard of it? I have heard of it. I haven't watched it. My partner Liz has told me some of the nonsense that goes on in it. Any niche fairy tales you think fiction should explore more? For me, it's The Boy Who Went Forth to Learn Fear. Not off the top of my head. I probably are, but I'm drawing a blank at the moment. I have not seen Owl House episodes 6 through 10 yet. I mentioned that earlier. So I am going to take a look at the Discord real quick, which is a reminder. The Council of Geeks Discord is a Patreon exclusive perk. Let's see what we got. Won't make the live stream, but here's a random question based on recent real events in the UK. What would you do if Tom Cruise landed a helicopter in your back garden? Well, given the size of my back garden, I would probably be asking him to replace all the trees that would have been decimated by the helicopter's rotor. Other than that, I honestly do not know. That would be just a very surreal experience. Tobey Maguire would be a fun Uncle Ben. He's 10 years younger than Marissa Tomei, but you can't seriously expect me to believe she's 56. Well, she is. Fun idea, but like a little too meta, and like definitely not going to happen. Like, I don't think we're ever going to see Uncle Ben in the MCU. I think they're just not going to... I just think they're not going to show him ever. And honestly, I'm kind of okay with that. Like, we had the definitive Uncle Ben already in the Raimi movies. So I'm okay with just having the lesson still be there. Without having to see the moment. It's kind of like how I don't need to see Bruce Wayne's parents get killed anymore. Yeah, I got it. I don't really need to see Uncle Ben give the life lesson and then die again. Yeah, I got it. Oh. Let's see. All right. Popping back to the chat. And I just got sent a link for the Tom Cruise... I guess it was during a shoot for Mission Impossible. Oh, good grief. Tom, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? My goodness. I stopped watching Once Upon a Time a long time ago. I don't recommend it. It was one of those things that like went on. I remember being like, wait, that's still on? That was sort of my recurrent thought on that. Kind of the same with Walking Dead, actually. I'll bounce. Remember to be good people. Chat and Vera, your inspiration. Keep doing you and never change. Thank you, Logan. You be good people, too. Got a heart to give to Sophia Christina Botha. Hey, hon, get my email. Yes, I did. I gotta pull that back up. Sorry, I've spent the last few days in a haze of editing, video editing, and I'm probably going to be stuck there for most of what's left of the week, and just lots of stuff just is not sinking in as fully as I would like. That's right. You had emailed me about J. Michael Straczynski, JMS, taking over Doctor Who, which, like, I will have more thoughts on it if it happens. At this point, like, it's just kind of that would work. It would make sense. That's kind of where I'm at. If Toby is actually returning in No Way Home, he should still say the line. Okay, yeah, I'm fine with that. I would actually be totally okay with Tobey Maguire saying the line. That would actually make a lot of sense in some ways. Have you ever watched Luther, British crime drama starring Idris Elba? I did. I watched the first series, and I wasn't grabbed. I honestly don't know what it was. It just, for some reason, it just didn't hook me. I just watched it. I'm like, okay, that was a thing. It's good to see you back on TikTok. It was wrong what they did to you. TikTok is I'm not thrilled with that platform right now. I can safely say that. Am I buffering for anybody? Because I'm getting an alert that I might be, but I don't know if I actually am. Discworld better than Once Upon a Time. The Watch. I mean, like, I feel like you're stacking the deck to compare Discworld to anything. Hope you haven't heard all bad things about Once Upon a Time. I'm hoping to be a mad dictator in October. Whatever works for you. Let's see. Should Luke Smith be the new Torchwood with the stars from Sarah Jane Adventures? I have mixed feelings about that idea. On the one hand, I would like to see them come back, but and like logistically, if you're going to do that, sticking them in Torchwood would make sense, but like, speaking personally, I'm not sure I want to see those characters dirtied up the way they would have to be to fit the tone of Torchwood. So, fair enough. But one thing a lot of people who watch the show say to me is, I loved Alice. You agree? I found Alice interesting. I didn't love her. And she was actually a character who I feel like I'd seen more than a few times, just not as a woman, which works well enough as far as gimmicks go. Did you see the Suicide Squad? I did. I have a review up in the Break Room of Geeks, which is the subsidiary channel. The last season of Once Upon a Time absolutely sucked and was so disappointing. I feel like whether or not a bad final season ruins a show, usually, not always, but usually depends on the structure of the show and whether it was something that felt like it was designed to build somewhere, or if things were more self-contained. Like, there's a reason that you can't go back and watch even the good seasons of Game of Thrones anymore, because it was always it's building to that clusterfuck of a finish. So, like, how can you enjoy the build-up when the ending sucks? Halfway through season 3 of Once Upon a Time, I got so angry I almost flipped my TV. I heard they made a live-action Phoenix Wright. It looks amazing. That was a while ago, wasn't it? Wasn't that Takeshi Miike made that? I feel like that's old news. Or are you saying like they're doing an English version? Because, hold on. Phoenix... Phoenix Wright. Ace Attorney, yeah, 2012. And it was Takashi Miike. Man, that guy's got a weird filmography. Holy cow. I recently rewatched the other Doctor Who spinoff, Class. I don't know if you watched it yet. If not, it's simple don't. I never got around to Class. At this point, that's on the list of maybe if someone commissions me stuff. I feel like shows have better final seasons when writers have the endings planned out. I would agree, but the asterisk I have to put on that is, and they are allowed to stop when they want to, because it's not uncommon for writers to have an ending planned out, but then be told, no, we're renewing you for another 3 seasons, so sort yourself out. Or it can actually go the other way, because then you get Gotham, because Gotham's last season is not very good, and it tries to do way too much. And part of the problem is they had a plan for the ending, but they also didn't abandon their plans for what was supposed to be a 5th season that wasn't going to be the ending. So they also crammed in the ending they were planning to do. Dollhouse did something similar. It gets weird. That's one of the problems with a planned ending, is if you don't get to end at the season you're planning to, then you either have to cram everything in if you've been canceled early, or you have to stretch everything out if you are renewed more than you had intended to be. So it is good to have a plan. Just don't be married to it, you know? It's not about the destination. It's about the bullshit mystery boxes. Well, it is if you're J.J. Abrams. You know, it's not about the des to something. It's about the whatever. If somebody can tell me where that quote's from, I will be very happy. My other wish for No Way Home is more of a stupid one, but I'd like to see, whoa, dang it. The comment got away from me. Hold on. I'd like to see Shailene Woodley finally get to play the version of MJ to Garfield's Peter. I feel like that version of Peter is probably just sat up on a gargoyle crying for the rest of his life. That was just kind of the mood he gave. You're going to love Miss Quill from Class. She's the only good thing about that show. Oh, I mean, I heard there were some decent things. If someone commissions you to watch Class, they want you to suffer. It'd be like me commissioning you to watch Ferris Bueller. That's a harsh thing to evoke. That happened to Suture. Supernatural had a perfect ending, but then kept going. Though there was a twist that was almost good that I need to make a video on. Do it. Make the videos. Do the thing. Yes, thank you, Carowin. That is a very good idea. Yeah, I should call it a night because I have... I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do. I have too much to edit. I have break room stuff to edit. I have Saturday's video to edit. I also might need to just actually step away from my computer for a little bit. I don't know. But I do have... There will be a new video on this channel tomorrow. So as I said, the What If review is moving to the break room. But there is going to be a video tomorrow actually about OnlyFans and the whole mess that's going on with them right now. That's going to be a premiere. It's going to be a little bit later than I normally do it. That's going to be premiere at 3 o'clock Eastern. Normally I do them at noon, but I don't want it to overrun potentially or bump up against my Twitch streaming, which that's at 10:30, again, Eastern time. So, yeah, I think that's about it. Is there a bar you'd not cross even if commissioned? Probably, but I don't know what it is. In any case, I hope everybody takes care. Thank you very much for just indulging me. Like I said, I'm kind of mentally exhausted. I feel like I'm not in the best mood right now, but you folks seemed happy enough to spend time with me, and that helps. So, thank you, everybody. I hope that you stay safe out there. Things are getting crazy in some areas again, but mostly I want you to remember that you are beautiful, you are valid, and you are loved. You are the council. I'm just running the meetings. So until next time, this council is adjourned. McCavity!